reflect back on Drexel Hill's performance in the Oaks?
Really, really happy with that. She, kind of gave us that same bush trip, came out a little flat and kind of trailed the field. But when Ben got her set down, she did the same thing. She just made one of the most gutsy efforts I, could have ever imagined for her, and, came up a little short, but still just such a good effort and beat by a really talented filly.
Yeah, an unbeaten
Yeah,
favorite.
Undefeated filly. She's there for a reason, and, we're just, super thrilled with what she showed yesterday, and we feel like she's got a big future.
So what are you?
I was gonna say, speaking of the future, have you thought about where you might go next?
As far as the immediate future, no, but kind of this 3-year-old filly races in Saratoga. You got the coaching club, the Alabama. I think those should suit her. But prior to that, we'll just see how she comes out of this and see if there's something in the middle that could fit her.
So what was it like watching it? I mean, you were in the Derby last year, but here this big day, and she's making this huge move. And what was that like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I watched it from the paddock this year because last year when I went to the rail to watch the Derby, it was just like being tin can sardines in a tin can. It was so hard to see anything. So watching it, I was kind of had my own simply joking, but I could tell as soon as she turned on the backside and that wave of water hit her and mud in the face, I knew she was going to probably start tucking it in, which, tough post for her. But kind of shifted back to Drexel and just called Ben, just kind of doing the same thing. Just start to slowly inch up, coming around the turn. You start to get that feeling. And then as he starts moving down the lane, we all got that, when the adrenaline really starts pumping. And, I knew it was going to be tough to get there chasing that filly, but it was a thrill, absolute thrill.
Best second you've ever had, been associated with?
Almost usually is no fun, but almost in the Oaks feels a lot better.
So Anna Marie wins the stakes. You're second in the Kentucky Oaks. You feel the barn has Mohawk mojo?
I hope so. He despite how everything else is going, I know this horse is coming into the day just, as good as I've ever seen him. And I'm really, really excited to see what he does. See what Mother Nature has in store for us later. And I gotta say, wet track has been kind of what I've been talking about all week. And I think it's a variable that could, give him a couple extra lengths in his effort.
Speaking of Honor Marie, now that you've had a couple days, have you thought about what you might do with him?
No, I have not. We're just going to kind of, see what our summer plans. I don't know what we have here. I just kind of look at some stakes programs. I'm not real familiar with the 1.5 mile, like real, marathon type distance schedules as we go through the summer. So, and I'm not even necessarily need to go back to 1.5 miles. I think he could shorten up and still be just as effective. So we'll just keep everything on the table. I think he showed that he's, come back to his form, and will he be in the, Grady company soon? I hope so, and, just kind of, like I said, see what happens.
If he's the next, that wouldn't be bad either, huh?
No, that's, Well, we'd have to think long and hard if we're going to go up against that horse next. Next.
I need punctuation there.
Yeah.
And simply joking, would she be in line for the same type of races as Drexel Hill, or will you try to keep them separated, cut back?
We'll take a look at her. She might be one. It was tough to gauge if the distance was an issue because she just caught such a tear.
Yeah.
That inside post on a track like that, when you're a speed horse, just it goes against you, and it did. You saw she broke. She was very keen early. And then when he did, I think the only reason she actually settled is because she took so much mud in the face, and she was just, not having it. So the track was not it was wet, but it was sticky yesterday, and you could see just the way she was moving. I don't think she was real comfortable. So we'll look at a bunch of options, but I think a cutback could be in store for her. I know she's a very fast, very talented filly. I think she's a grade 1 horse, and I just, we'll let her tell us where her next start needs to be.
Can you imagine this barn right across the way from you, Brad Cox, that they had the unbeaten 2-year-old filly champion? She goes to the shelf, and you still have in your barn this unbeaten 3-year-old filly.
On the way here this morning, I was like, well, that's what $1 trillion breeding program will do for you. How much you can't ever still I think it's, anybody that puts that kind of money in the game deserves everything they get. But, when you're Sheikh Mohammed and, the Godolphin team, they've just, done such a good job to perfect their breeding and program that it's, no matter what, you're going to get these really talented fillies. And when they all end up in the same barn, it's, good for Brad and bad news for us.
But again, just I guess reflect a little on yesterday, because I know a couple weeks ago you were telling us about, we used to have the day off on school on Oaks Day, and I'd go to the infield, and then yesterday you're standing on the track after running second in the Oaks.
No, it doesn't fall lightly on me. Every moment I soaked in, every moment I enjoyed. The results are exceeds our expectations. We always go in with the hope to win, but we know how hard this game is. So to have one run second like that, you know, on this stage, and said had family, friends, owners, we had all. It was just watching everybody walk over. I was just really not really in a state of like anything except just pure enjoyment of the experience.